crazy lockdown here. Check. Squeakiest chair in the house. Check. I think we're ready. What's going on YouTube? Hope you're all well. Feels like it's been a while since I've sat in front of the camera. As you can see, we've changed scenery. We are no longer standing against the wall downstairs. We are now upstairs in the office. So hopefully I'll be able to do a bit more of these videos here as well. So let me know. What do you think? Any good? I need to think about some extra stuff in this shelf here, I think. I don't know, I'll fill it with crap in no time. Today we're doing another recipe. You may not be happy about this, but it is another croissant-based dessert, and I promise you, this is the last one. This dessert is just fantastic. It is the ultimate bread and butter pudding, except it's more like a hybrid of sticky toffee pudding, and instead of bread, I've used croissants. And it's just incredible. But then after this, I promise you, we'll get back to some different recipes that aren't croissant related. So let's just get on with this recipe, shall we? To start us off, we're going to need some mature dates. Remove the stone from these little beauties and then put them into a saucepan with half a teaspoon of bicarb soda and then just enough water to cover the dates. Then bring the whole lot to the boil. Now, why are we adding bicarb soda? Well, the short story is to make them sweeter. The bicarb neutralises the tannic acids that you find in the date, resulting in reducing that tang and boosting that sweetness. Now, when you boil the dates, you're going to notice that it starts to turn a little green, but don't panic, that's just the bicarb doing its work. Continue to cook, adding more water if necessary, and you'll see the dates will revert back to a deep, rich, brown, crimson colour. Keep on cooking the dates until they completely break down and you have a thick date paste. Then put it to one side and leave it to cool. Now, in hindsight, which is always 2020, I should have chopped up the dates first before trying to cook them. That would have sped up the process a little bit, but I was feeling a bit lazy. I didn't fancy chopping them up, so I just threw them straight in. But the time I saved not chopping, I've lost threefold in the cooking time. So don't be like me, don't be lazy, chop up your dates. Now we can make a simple custard mixture for our bread and butter pudding by putting 3 eggs and 3 egg yolks into a bowl along with 75 grams of sugar and a tablespoon of vanilla extract. Give it a good whisk together and then add 500 ml of double cream, whisk again until smooth, and then the custard's ready. To assemble this pudding, line a 2-pound loaf tin with silicone paper. If you don't know how to do this properly and you're interested in finding out, then I do have a video here that you can go and check out. Then you can cut up your bread. As you can see, I'm using my croissant trimmings from my many failed attempts, but there's no way I was going to throw them out, and they are absolutely cracking in this pudding. But of course, if you're not using croissants, then you can just sub in bread or brioche or sourdough, or even a mixture of all those bits and bobs you might have left over. Just bag or box up any of your sort of trimmings or stale knob ends, put them into a bag in the freezer, and then once that's full, whip them out, use them for this dessert. And thank me later. Anyway, once all your croissant is cut up, start layering it into your lined loaf tin, alternating with the date paste you made earlier. Now don't be shy, spread it on nice and thick, then top with more croissant and continue until you reach the top of the tin. This will probably be about 3 layers each. Then to finish my one off, I've saved all the end pieces of those croissants to place on top to create this cool little top to the pudding. Then strain your custard through a sieve just to keep it super smooth, and then pour it over the croissants. Push the pudding lightly just to act like a little sponge and soak up all that custard, and top up as necessary when all the custard looks absorbed. Once you've got as much custard as you can into the pudding, leave it to soak for about 20-30 minutes. Then sprinkle the top with a little bit of light brown sugar or some demerara sugar, then place into a bain-marie and bake in the oven at 180 degrees for about 30-35 minutes until the custard is set and the pudding is slightly risen and firm. While the pudding is cooking, you can make the sauce. Finely chop 100 grams of stone medjool dates and put to one side. Then into a pan, add 100 grams each of butter, light brown sugar and golden syrup. Whisk over a medium heat until smooth and then bring to the boil. Then add 100 ml of double cream, bring the sauce back to the boil, whisking constantly, then finally add a teaspoon of vanilla extract and those finely chopped dates you cut earlier. Bring everything back to the boil one last time, then remove the heat and keep warm until you're ready to use it. By now, the pudding should be cooked, so remove from the oven and place on a wire rack to cool. While the pudding is still nice and warm, take it out of the tin and carefully remove the paper. The custard should hold everything together, but if you don't take a little bit of care, you risk having everything fall apart on you. Transfer the pudding to a serving plate and while it's still hot, slice yourself a cheeky wedge and drown it in some of that toffee sauce. It isn't pretty, but dude, this pudding tastes incredible. And that's it. Your ultimate sticky toffee bread and butter pudding that's not actually bread, but it's made with croissants instead, is ready. Maybe we'll just stick to calling it the ultimate bread and butter pudding. I've just been looking back at the video of that, and that thing looks insane. It was so good that I had to get it out of the house as quickly as possible. So I dropped some off at some friends, social distancing and all that, and they loved it so much that they sent me a very angry message about how delicious it was. And if I make something that makes someone angry about how good it tastes, I've definitely done my job right. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like this recipe and fancy giving it a go, hit that thumbs up and check the description down below for the full recipe. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and if you're interested in any of the equipment that I use, you can always go and check out my Amazon store. I keep all my favourites over there. And reach out to me on Instagram, albrady.co.uk, and while you're there, why not give me a cheeky follow? I'll see you in the next one.